You've been lied to. The world tells you to follow your passion, to do what feels right. That's poison wrapped in comfort. It sounds noble, but it makes you weak. A man who follows his mood is a servant of chaos. His emotions pull the strings, and he dances like a fool. The powerful, they don't chase passion. They command themselves. They build will like a fortress and rule their inner world with cold precision. Every day, your mind will try to betray you, whispering that you're tired, that you've done enough, that it's okay to rest. That's your weakness begging for survival. But you weren't built to obey comfort. You were built to conquer it. Consistency isn't about motivation, it's about identity. The man who forces himself to move when every part of him resists, that man becomes unstoppable. His word becomes law to his body, to his emotions, to his life. This is where you separate yourself from the herd. Not in talent, not in luck, but in discipline. You are not your mood, you are your will. Comment below. My will commands my mind. Say it again, because it's time to remember who's in control. 1. The discipline of control. Control is not about pretending you don't feel. It's about never letting those feelings dictate your actions. Every man feels fear, doubt, laziness. But the difference between the strong and the soft is simple. The strong act anyway. You must learn to rule yourself like a tyrant king, cold, precise, and indifferent to comfort. When your emotions riot, silence them with command. When your thoughts scatter, cage them with focus. When weakness whispers, answer with movement. Because motion kills hesitation. Understand this. The world respects control because it fears it. People are drawn to those who are unmoved, men who remain calm when others break, steady when others tremble. That's real dominance. It's not about aggression or volume, it's about being untouchable, the kind of man whose silence carries more power than another's shouting. Machiavelli wrote that it's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But start with yourself. Make your own mind fear disappointing you. Let your will become the law it obeys. Every time you control yourself, you sharpen your blade. Every time you resist the urge to quit, you ascend above the masses who live like leaves in the wind. Comment below, I move by will, not emotion. Because control isn't a gift, it's forged, daily, in silence and defiance. 2. The enemy within. Your greatest enemy doesn't live outside of you. He lives in your mind, the soft voice that whispers, you've done enough, the one that tells you to take it easy, to delay, to rest when you haven't earned rest. That voice has no face, no name, but it has stolen more potential from men than failure ever did. You must hunt that voice down. You must expose it. It hides behind logic, pretending to protect you. It says, you need balance, when what you really need is discipline. It says, you deserve a break when you haven't yet built momentum. It tells you you're tired, when in truth, you're simply untrained in persistence. Understand this. Your comfort is the assassin of your greatness. Every time you choose ease over effort, you surrender a piece of your strength. You feed the enemy inside you. You let the mind rot while calling it self-care. Machiavelli said that men are driven by necessity, that comfort breeds corruption. And he was right. The man who always chooses comfort becomes fragile. The man who embraces struggle becomes inevitable. Pain is not punishment, it's purification. It burns away the weakness that holds you back. The enemy within doesn't die, it's starved. Each day you ignore its voice, it grows quieter. Each time you act against it, you take back power. That's how you become untouchable. Not by destroying others, but by mastering yourself. You must become a fortress, unyielding, ruthless with your own excuses. When the weak man complains, you move. When he hesitates, you strike. When he stops, you keep going. There is no mercy for the man who quits on himself. There is no glory in comfort. Comment below, I silence the enemy within. Say it like an oath, because that's what this is. A declaration of war against your own weakness. 3. The Machiavellian mind. The world bows to those who understand power, not those who beg for peace. To master life, you must think like a strategist, not a dreamer. Emotion clouds judgment, sentiment destroys strength. The Machiavellian mind is ice wrapped in fire, cold in calculation, relentless in pursuit. You must learn to see people not as they pretend to be, but as they truly are, driven by self-interest, fear, and desire. That's human nature. To deny it is to walk blind into manipulation. To understand it is to rise above it. This isn't cynicism, it's clarity. The world runs on hidden motives. If you fail to recognize them, you become a pawn in someone else's game. Machiavelli taught that virtue without power is weakness. Kindness without control invites betrayal. So stop trying to be liked, be respected. Stop chasing validation, command attention. If people think you're dangerous, good. It means they think twice before crossing you. The Machiavellian mind knows when to conceal and when to strike. Power is not loud, it's silent, precise, patient. A serpent doesn't announce itself. It waits, it studies, it strikes only once, and it never misses. That's how you must move, calm, deliberate, always a step ahead. Every interaction you have is an exchange of leverage. Learn what others want, learn what they fear. Then position yourself so that their need serves your advantage. That's not cruelty, that's strategy. The difference between manipulation and mastery is intention. One serves selfishness, the other serves control. Train your mind to detach from emotion when making decisions. You must become your own advisor, your own ruler. When anger flares, silence it. When fear rises, analyze it. When temptation whispers, outthink it. The man who governs himself can govern anything. Remember this, power respects power. Weakness attracts predators. So you either become the hunter or you become the hunted. Choose. Every time you react impulsively, you lose ground. Every time you pause, calculate, and respond with precision, you take it back. That's the Machiavellian advantage. Control, foresight, dominance through discipline. Comment below, I think cold, I move with purpose. Because this is how kings are built, not through chaos, but through control. 4. Training the will. Discipline is not a routine, it's a religion. And your God is willpower. Your will is the only force that separates the man who dreams from the man who builds. You can have talent, ambition, even brilliance, but without will, you are dust. The world is littered with clever men who never finished anything because they were ruled by moods instead of mission. Training your will means breaking the chain between feeling and action. You do not wait to feel ready. You move when it's time to move, especially when you don't want to. That's when the training begins. When your body screams, stop, keep going. When your mind says, tomorrow, do it now. Every time you override weakness, you forge steel in your soul. Understand this truth. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your discipline. Motivation is emotional. Willpower is mechanical. You must train it daily, like a muscle that grows stronger only through resistance. The resistance is the gift. It's the test that reveals who you are when comfort is stripped away. Stop chasing balance. Balance is for those who plan to stay average. Seek dominance over yourself. Wake early when it's easier to sleep. Work when your mind begs for escape. Say no when pleasure calls for your attention. Every small act of defiance builds your empire of control. There will be no applause for your discipline, no crowd cheering when you choose the hard path. But in silence, you'll gain something far greater, command over yourself. And that's the kind of power no man can take from you. When others break down, you'll remain calm. When others give up, you'll endure. When others lose faith, you'll still be standing, because your will has become your weapon. Remember what Machiavelli understood. Fortune favors the man who prepares his mind to dominate circumstances, not suffer them. The man who bends his will to reality doesn't need luck. He creates it. So train your will the way warriors sharpen blades, through friction, repetition, and pain. Because pain is not your enemy. It's your forge. It burns away the weakness that pollutes your mind, until only clarity and control remain. There's no secret formula, no motivational quote can do it for you. You are both the blacksmith and the blade. Every day, you decide whether to stay dull or become deadly. Comment below, "My will is my weapon." Write it like a contract with yourself, because that's what it is. The moment you stop negotiating with your weakness and start commanding your destiny. 5. Emotional detachment, the art of cold power. To rule your life, you must first rule your emotions. The man who reacts is owned by circumstance. The man who observes owns it. Emotional detachment is not coldness, it's control. It's the art of staying unshaken while the world loses its balance. Most people are addicted to reacting. They speak too fast, feel too deeply, and think too late. You must become their opposite: slow, silent, strategic. The less you react, the more powerful you become, because silence unnerves the weak. It forces others to reveal themselves while you reveal nothing. Detach from approval, detach from validation, detach from the need to explain. You owe the world no explanation for your discipline, your ambition, or your solitude. The lion doesn't justify its roar, it simply roars. And when you stop explaining yourself, you become unpredictable. That's power. The Machiavellian mind uses emotion as a weapon, not a weakness. Learn to display warmth when it serves you, and indifference when it protects you. Appear approachable, but never available. People should feel they can never quite figure you out. That's when influence begins. Understand, emotions are tools, not masters. Anger can fuel you if you command it. Fear can sharpen you if you face it. Even pain can refine you if you channel it. But the moment you let these forces control you, you become their victim. So watch yourself as if you were watching an enemy. Study your triggers, record your reactions, analyze your behavior. Make your emotions serve your strategy, not sabotage it. Detachment doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means your feelings don't decide your direction. When someone disrespects you, don't lash out. When life hits you, don't complain. Control your energy like a sniper controls his breath. Steady, quiet, deadly precise. In a world ruled by emotion, the man who remains calm becomes godlike. He intimidates without effort. He commands without noise. He dominates without lifting a hand, because his power is internal. Let others chase attention, you chase mastery. Let them show off their emotions, you show restraint. Because the man who can feel everything but reveal nothing, that's the man no one can control. Comment below, "I control emotion. Emotion never controls me." Write it, say it, live it. Because detachment is not withdrawal, it's evolution, the beginning of true, unshakable power. 6. Strategic isolation, building the fortress mind. Power requires distance. You cannot become unshakable while drowning in noise. Most people fear being alone because solitude exposes the truth, how weak their minds really are. They hide behind constant stimulation, endless conversations, and the comfort of crowds. But isolation is the crucible where real men are forged. Strategic isolation is not loneliness. It's weaponized focus. It's the deliberate withdrawal from distraction to build dominance. You step away not because you hate people, but because you understand the game, that proximity breeds influence and distance breeds respect. Machiavelli understood this. A ruler must be seen rarely, like a flame glimpsed through the dark. Too much exposure breeds familiarity, and familiarity kills authority. You must learn to vanish when needed. When you isolate yourself, you remove the world's grip on your emotions. You begin to hear your own voice again, the one buried under opinions, expectations, and noise. In that silence, your mind hardens. Use isolation to analyze yourself like a scientist studies a specimen. Identify your weaknesses, your habits, your impulses, then destroy what makes you soft. Cut off what wastes your time. Build rituals that reinforce your strength. Every hour spent alone should either sharpen your mind or strengthen your control. In solitude, there's no audience, no one to impress, no one to validate you, just the mirror. and the truth staring back. That's where transformation begins. The crowd rewards comfort. The fortress rewards clarity. While they chase distraction, you will refine focus. While they seek approval, you will construct power. The man who learns to think alone becomes dangerous because he no longer needs noise to feel alive. Isolation teaches emotional independence. You stop expecting others to save you, motivate you, or understand you. You realize most people don't want growth. They want escape. They talk of ambition, but live in indulgence. Don't follow them, observe them. Study them like patterns in a game you've already won. Your isolation is your laboratory. You experiment with habits, systems, philosophies. You learn what fuels your will and what weakens it. Then, like a ruler defending his city, you fortify your mental walls, not to keep the world out, but to control what enters. When you return from isolation, you carry an aura of mystery. People will sense something different, a stillness that unsettles them. They won't understand it, and that's the point. Power thrives on unpredictability. Let them wonder what you're thinking, what you're planning, what you're capable of. The less they know, the more they respect. Isolation will test you. There will be boredom, restlessness, even fear. But on the other side of that discomfort lies mastery. Because if you can stand alone, you can stand anywhere. Every empire begins in silence. Every revolution starts within. So disconnect to rebuild. Withdraw to return stronger. Don't fear the quiet. Rule it. Your mind is your kingdom, and solitude is the throne room where you learn to reign. Comment below, I build power in silence. Let it be your creed, your reminder that separation is not weakness, it's strategy. And when the world finally sees you again, they won't see the same man. They'll see the one who trained in shadows, who built himself in the silence, and who no longer needs approval, only purpose. 7. The psychology of fear and domination. Power isn't given, it's taken. And to take it, you must understand the oldest truth in human nature. Fear rules everything. Every decision, every desire, every alliance, underneath it all is fear. The fear of loss, rejection, failure, humiliation, insignificance. If you learn to read fear, you control people. If you learn to master your own, you become untouchable. Fear is not your enemy, it's your compass. It points to the very thing you must confront to grow. Most men run from it. The few who walk toward it become dominant. Machiavelli understood this. He knew men are driven more by fear than by loyalty or love. Love fades, fear endures. That's why leaders who command respect often do so through an aura of danger, not warmth. You don't need to terrorize others, but they must know that crossing you carries a cost. Your presence should carry weight. When you speak, silence should follow. When you look at someone, they should feel the pressure of your awareness. That's psychological dominance. Influence born not from noise, but from gravity. To create it, you must first conquer the battlefield within. Fear cannot be destroyed, only transformed. Channel it into energy. Turn anxiety into readiness, uncertainty into observation, and anger into precision. Fear sharpens the senses when you control it. It paralyzes when you don't. The weak drown in it. The strong ride it like a wave. Every time you act in spite of fear, you expand your territory of power. Your mind begins to trust your command. You prove to yourself that hesitation has no authority here. Eventually, your fear doesn't vanish. It obeys. And that's when you become lethal. Understand how fear shapes others. People reveal themselves when they're afraid. Their voice changes. Their words betray hidden truths. Observe. Listen. You'll learn more from silence than from 1,000 conversations. The man who reads fear can predict behavior. The man who predicts behavior controls outcomes. Use fear strategically, not cruelly. A subtle pause, a quiet stare, or a calm refusal can command more respect than shouting ever will. The goal is not intimidation for its own sake, but control through presence. Fear without chaos, power without waste. Remember, dominance begins with emotional neutrality. The moment you let anger rule, you lose control. Stay cold. A storm outside, but still water inside. People mistake calm for weakness until calm dismantles them. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." But the modern warrior goes deeper. He becomes respected because he understands both fear and love and knows when to wield each. Too much fear breeds rebellion. Too much love breeds entitlement. Balance them like weapons, never letting either control you. You don't demand fear. You earn it through consistency, boundaries, and strength. People fear disappointing the man who never breaks his own code. They fear the silence of a man who doesn't react emotionally, who stays composed when others unravel. To dominate, first dominate yourself. Control your tone, your movements, your breath. Speak less, observe more. Let your confidence whisper instead of scream, because true power doesn't perform, it radiates. Fear is the foundation of respect, but mastery is the foundation of fear. The man who has conquered himself has nothing left to lose, and nothing is more terrifying than that. So, when fear appears, don't flinch. Welcome it. Study it. Make it your ally. Because in every moment of fear lies a hidden opportunity to prove you are still in command. Comment below, "I command fear. It serves me." Let it remind you that the goal is not to destroy fear, but to own it, to make it bend, kneel, and obey your will. This is the psychology of domination, not cruelty, but control, not aggression, but absolute certainty. And when you reach that level, the world stops testing you because it already knows the result. 8. Power through ruthless consistency. Consistency is the great divider, the line between the powerful and the forgotten. Every man starts with ambition, but only the few remain standing after the fire of repetition burns away their excuses. The world doesn't reward potential, it rewards endurance. You can be talented, inspired, even brilliant, but if you can't show up every day, you're nothing more than noise in the wind. Ruthless consistency is not motivation, it's obedience to your mission, to your standards, to your own word. The weak wait for inspiration. The strong act regardless. The powerful don't rely on mood. They rely on momentum. They understand that discipline is sacred, that progress is built in the moments when no one's watching, when comfort seduces, when fatigue whispers. That's when the real work begins. Machiavelli would call it necessity, the law that drives survival. When men lose necessity, they decay. Modern comfort has made most men soft. They want rewards without repetition, crowns without conquest. But you, if you seek power, must train in the opposite direction. You must force yourself to move when the world stands still. The greatest victories are not achieved in war, but in the quiet moments when you choose effort over ease. Consistency is the enemy of chaos. It builds rhythm. It bends time to your will. You may not notice its power at first, but the world will. People begin to trust those who never falter. They sense it, the unbreakable rhythm of a man who keeps his promises to himself. That's the birth of authority. You must treat your word as law. When you say you'll do something, it must happen, no matter the pain, no matter the distraction. The moment you let yourself slip, just this once, you invite weakness into the throne room of your mind. And weakness is a virus. It spreads fast, infects your focus, and dismantles your empire from within. To build consistency, eliminate options. Don't debate, don't negotiate. Decide once and execute forever. The less you think, the stronger your momentum becomes. The soldier doesn't ask whether he feels like marching. He marches. The craftsman doesn't wait for inspiration. He works. The strategist doesn't seek permission. He plans and moves. Every day you execute, you train your subconscious to obey you. It begins to expect action, not delay. Soon, consistency becomes identity, not what you do, but who you are. That's when you become dangerous. Because when effort becomes instinct, you become unstoppable. People will call you obsessed. They'll say you're cold, intense, unbalanced. Let them. Their opinions are distractions from mediocrity. Power demands obsession, not emotional chaos. but unwavering focus. To achieve mastery, you must become ritualistic. Wake up, train, work, refine, repeat. The repetition may feel mundane, but that monotony is where transformation hides. When fatigue comes, and it will, don't break, redefine it. Fatigue is not a signal to stop. It's proof that you're exceeding limits. When boredom appears, see it as a test, the moment where average men quit and kings are made. Each repetition is a strike of the hammer, shaping you into something unrecognizable. Consistency isn't glamorous. There's no applause in the dark. But when the results appear, the world will call you gifted, lucky, blessed, anything but what you truly are, relentless. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the bold, but it's consistency that keeps fortune from slipping away. The man who acts once is impressive. The man who acts forever is unstoppable. You must stop chasing motivation like a drunk chases the next drink. It's temporary. Discipline is permanent. Motivation asks, do I feel like it? Discipline says, it doesn't matter. And remember this, momentum is fragile. One missed day can unravel weeks of progress. Protect it with the same ruthlessness you'd defend a kingdom. If you fall, rise instantly. Don't dwell, don't spiral. Correct and continue. Power respects persistence. Consistency will make you feared, because while others burn out, you remain. While others talk, you execute. While others hope, you act. The world bows to the man it cannot exhaust. Comment below, my discipline is my power. Because that's the truth. Power doesn't come from bursts of brilliance, but from the relentless repetition of excellence. Be ruthless with your routine. Be merciless with your excuses. Every day you stay consistent, you etch your name into reality. That's immortality, not in memory, but in legacy. And remember, you're not training for comfort. You're training for command. Command over yourself, your time, your destiny. The man who conquers consistency conquers everything. 9. The aura of the untouchable. Powerful men don't chase attention. Attention chases them. The untouchable man doesn't demand respect. He radiates it. His presence changes the atmosphere of a room. People lower their voices when he walks in, not because he's loud or aggressive, but because his silence carries gravity. He's mastered something few ever do, the art of controlled energy. You see, true power doesn't scream. It doesn't beg, boast, or explain. It moves with precision. The untouchable man doesn't need to prove himself because his existence proves itself. He's calm when others panic, confident when others doubt, deliberate when others hesitate. He has built an inner fortress so stable that nothing external can shake it. Machiavelli said that men should either be crushed or left untouched, because the half measure invites revenge. The untouchable man understands this principle deeply. He strikes only when it matters. He never wastes effort, never reacts emotionally, and never fights battles beneath his rank. That's not cowardice, it's strategy. To him, every reaction is a potential loss of power. He decides when to act, how to act, and what deserves his energy. Everything else is silence. His silence is not weakness. It's a mirror. It forces others to confront themselves. People project onto what they don't understand, and that's where his power multiplies. They fear what they can't predict, and they respect what they can't manipulate. The untouchable man gives them nothing to grasp. No weakness, no insecurity, no visible emotion, just presence. Understand this. Presence is energy made visible. It's what happens when your mind, body, and will are aligned under one command. Most men scatter their energy. They talk too much, move too fast, seek too many things. The untouchable man does the opposite. He focuses. Every gesture, every word, every look serves a purpose. That's why he feels different. That's why he commands attention without effort. To build this aura, you must begin by mastering detachment. You must learn to stand apart, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. People lose power because they care too much about perception. The untouchable man doesn't seek validation. He is validation. His value doesn't depend on recognition. It comes from internal certainty, from a mind trained to remain composed under pressure. He is neither cruel nor kind. He is necessary. When he speaks, it's measured. When he listens, it's intentional. When he acts, it's decisive. He wastes no motion, no breath, no thought. That's what makes him magnetic. To the weak, his presence feels like intimidation. To the strong, it feels like challenge. To himself, it feels like alignment. Every part of him serving the mission. Building the aura of the untouchable begins with one rule: never reveal everything. Mystery is leverage. Let people wonder. Let them question your motives. Let them underestimate you, because power hidden is power preserved. The loudest man in the room may get attention, but the quiet one controls the outcome. Never let others dictate your emotional temperature. If they try to provoke you, remain still. If they insult you, smile. If they betray you, erase them completely. Indifference is the ultimate form of dominance. Nothing disarms the emotional like composure. The man who cannot be provoked cannot be controlled. You must also learn the art of disappearance. Sometimes the greatest statement is absence. Walk away from noise, from pettiness, from anything that doesn't serve your evolution. Your withdrawal is your weapon. When you leave without explanation, you remind people that your presence is a privilege, not a right. But make no mistake, untouchable does not mean untouching. You can influence, inspire, and lead, but never attach. You remain connected without being captured. You give without being drained. You love without losing yourself. That's balance through dominance. Machiavelli's prince thrived by perception, by appearing virtuous while remaining pragmatic. You must master the same duality. Be approachable in manner, unyielding in spirit. Let your smile disarm, but your silence dominate. That duality creates an aura few can comprehend. Every day you wake, carry yourself like a man with nothing to prove and nothing to fear. Speak less, move slower, observe more. Enter every space like you own it, not through arrogance, but through awareness. Your calm must be your crown, your restraint, your sword. The untouchable man doesn't chase results. He attracts them through consistency and presence. He doesn't fight for status. He becomes status itself. His life is strategy. Every word, every pause, every decision. That's how kings operate. That's how empires sustain. And remember, the aura isn't built in public. It's forged in private. It's born in solitude, hardened by silence, perfected through control. You don't practice being untouchable for others. You do it for yourself, to remind your own mind who rules here. When you master that, you'll no longer chase power. You'll embody it. And when you embody power, the world adjusts around you. Comment below, "My presence commands without words." Because that's the creed of the untouchable. Authority through stillness, respect through restraint, and dominance through discipline. 10. The final law, becoming the architect of power. Every empire begins in the mind of one man, not in chaos, not in chance, but in design. The architect of power doesn't hope. He builds. He understands that life doesn't reward emotion. It rewards precision. Power isn't about reacting. It's about constructing reality on your own terms. You must think like a strategist. Every move, every word, every silence is a piece of architecture. The weak live by impulse. The strong live by blueprint. Machiavelli knew this. Fortune bends to the man who plans with calculation and strikes with timing. That is how you rise while others drift. The first step, design yourself. You are the foundation of every victory. Train your mind to command obedience, your emotions to serve reason, and your body to endure. When the world shakes, your foundation must hold. Power begins where excuses end. The second step, control perception. The world doesn't respond to truth, it responds to image. Craft yours like a weapon. Speak little, deliver much. Move in silence until your results make noise. Never reveal all your intentions. Mystery is leverage. Control it. The third step, master time. The powerful don't rush. They wait, calculate, and act when others grow careless. Patience is dominance disguised as calm. Every delay is preparation. Every pause is pressure. The man who controls tempo controls outcomes. And the final step, legacy. The architect doesn't chase applause. He builds something that outlives noise. His words become principles. His habits become systems. His discipline becomes inheritance. The weak seek fame. The strong build frameworks that last beyond them. Understand this. Power is not about ruling others. It's about mastery of self. Mastery so absolute that the world cannot bend you. Once you command yourself, control over others becomes effortless. So construct your empire from within, brick by brick, routine by routine, thought by thought. No emotion, no hesitation, only structure, control, and direction. Comment below, I am the architect of my power. Let it seal your commitment to build your life with deliberate strength, not reaction. And if this message ignited something within you, a reminder of the man you were meant to become, then act, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because mental thought isn't entertainment, it's transformation. It's the armory of the modern strategist, the forge of the disciplined, the voice that reminds you, power isn't found, it's built.